So governments also put on some taxes. Recently we saw some, excise duty, some import duty on gold, excise duty on cars, so excise duty, etc., on vehicles, etc., or cars was increased. So you could create a taxation on buyers. How does that work? We will try and understand that now. You could also create a taxation on sellers. We'll also try and understand how that works. Fine. So let's look at this now. So we have the curve once again, equilibrium points. I have the supply curve and the demand curve which are given to me. And now we will try and figure out what happens if there is, let's say, a tax that is put on the buyer. If the tax is put on the buyer, if I'm buying something for 50 rupees, I will not be willing to pay more than that. If the government comes and puts a tax of 5 rupees on this, I would effectively be willing to pay only 45 to the seller and 5 to the government. I don't care where my 50 goes. I don't want to pay anything more than 50. So whenever there is a tax that is put on the buyer, you will see the demand curve for the buyer shifting downwards. The demand curve for the buyer would effectively move downwards because the buyer is indifferent to who gets the money, whether the seller gets the money or whether the government gets the money. So if the buyer was giving 100 and now there is a tax of 10 in this 100, net of the tax, the buyer will be willing to pay only 90, which will bring down the demand curve to that extent. Correct? So that's something that happens. So this tax imposed on buyers will buy at the same price, but a portion of the previous price will go to the government. Thus the demand curve will shift downward, reflecting price buyers are willing to pay to the suppliers. Correct? So let's look at what happens there. You will see that price paid is P paid, price received by the seller is P received though. The difference between P paid and P received is what goes as tax to the government. Correct? So that's what happens to the curve. This is the producer surplus now that has gotten reduced because lesser quantity and lower price received. You will note that this is the part of the producer surplus that the government receives as the result of tax. Fine. This is the actual tax incidence. This effect is of a tax incidence on the supplier. Even though buyers are paying, this part has gone out from the supplier's kitty. We'll see how in a moment with an example. This is the consumer surplus which is left. This has gotten reduced now because of lower quantities and higher price that has been paid. So this goes away. This portion though is the amount of tax that the government receives on the portion of consumer surplus. Now this again, the actual taxpayer is the buyer, but this is a part of the buyer's consumer surplus that is going out. There is also a deadweight loss which is given by the final two triangles which are available here. So these two triangles here will give me the deadweight loss that happens because of putting a tax on buyers. Correct? Let's now understand what happens with tax on suppliers. So in the case of tax on suppliers, similar logics apply. So we look at, let's say, price and quantity. Supply curve will now start moving up because tax imposed on suppliers, the supplier will supply the same quantity at a higher price because once again supplier shouldn't be too bothered, which would result in the supply curve shifting higher and going to this point, which again creates similar scenarios in terms of producer surplus and consumer surplus. You will note that this is the price paid, this is the price received, and effectively tax borne by the buyers because of lost consumer surplus, tax borne by the sellers in the form of lost producer surplus. What we'll do now is the effect of tax to be understood as to who bears this burden in what proportion. And how do we look at it? We'll take an example to understand this. When we take the example and understand this in detail, we will know exactly how the tax is borne, and we will also establish an equality in terms of the fact that whether the tax is put on the buyer or the tax is put on the supplier, things don't really change. They don't really change dramatically. Eventual effect is the same. Fine, so let's look at that and try and understand what happens here. So let's assume there is a demand function. Let's take an example. The demand function is quantity demanded is 80 minus 2p. Supply function is quantity supplied is minus 10 plus p. Assume that the government introduces a tax of rupees 6 on the seller, on the buyer. Let's examine the changes and how the burden gets shared. Fine. So this is the seller's function. This is the buyer's function. If I equate 80 minus 2p is equals to minus 10 plus p, this will become 3p is equals to 90, or p is equals to 30. If I put 30 in the equation, the equilibrium price, P equilibrium, is 30, and quantity supplied, which is equal to quantity demanded at equilibrium, is Q equilibrium. That would be equal to 20 units. So this is 30 rupees, this is 20 units that come out. Correct? Now the government introduces a tax of rupees 6. What happens post that? We'll try and understand that. Also note that 80 minus 2p and minus 10 plus p can be reversed. So I can get two functions such as price is equals to 40 minus 0.5 q, and in the second case price is equals to 10 plus q. Correct? Now assume that the government introduces a tax of rupees 6 on the seller. If the government introduces a tax of rupees 6 on the seller would not be willing to accept the price that was initially being given. Correct? So now the seller would be accepting a slightly higher price, and that price would go up by 6. So effectively we are saying that the supply curve would shift up by 6 units. So let's see. What we are saying is that the supply curve will shift up. That's what we had seen. In our example earlier, we had seen that if the tax is put on the seller, the supply curve will start going up. So if the supply curve goes up, effectively the intercept goes up. The supply curve will go up in this case by rupees 6. Which means the intercept of this supply curve will change by 6 rupees. Now what was the supply curve in our example? Let's look at the supply curve in our example. What was given here was, this was the supply function. Correct? So let's look at the supply function quickly. This is the supply function. Sorry. This is the supply function. So effectively P is equals to 10 plus Q. Now this would become 16 plus Q, because the supplier would ask for a price which is higher by $6 because of the tax of 6. Correct? So this becomes 16 plus Q. Let's try and solve for this now. So we go ahead and say that the supplier's price is now 16 plus Q. Let's solve for the equilibrium price first. The buyer's price would be equivalent to this. Note what was the buyer's price? This was this minus 0.5 Q. The inverse of the demand function was the demand curve. So this goes around. We find 1.5 Q is equals to 24, which means Q is equals to 24 by 1.5, which is 16. So quantity now becomes 16, which effectively means that the price, which is 16 plus Q, becomes 32. Correct? From this equation. So the price became 32. If the price became 32, note that the buyer is now paying 32 effectively here. Correct? Now, see what happens in this context now. Effectively, when the seller gets 32, out of this 32, 6 goes to the government. Correct? So eventually the seller makes 32 minus 6, which is 26. The seller earlier in the equilibrium state was making 30. Now he is making 26, which means he loses 4. The buyer in the equilibrium was paying 30. Now he is paying 32, which means he loses 2. So this entire 6 is borne in this proportion. The 6 rupees that the government is charging, 4 of it is being paid by the seller and 2 is being paid by the buyer. Because the buyer now buys this for 32 instead of 30, whereas the seller gets 26 instead of 30. Is that correct? Fine. So that's the first example where we see that the 6 rupees of tax is borne by the buyer and the seller. Let's try and understand this a bit more. What happens if the tax is put on the buyer? Now interestingly, if the tax is put on the buyer will be willing to pay lesser, which means the demand curve should shift lower, which means when we were talking earlier about a curve being something like 40 plus 0.5 Q is the price that the buyer was willing to pay according to this. This 40 will now go down by 6 rupees because now the buyer is paying this to the supplier. So I can again solve for these two equations where 34 plus 0.5 Q will be equivalent to, I'm sorry, this is minus Q, this is minus, and this is also minus. Let's solve for these two as we go on the next slide. So what we are saying is that 34 minus 0.5 Q is equals to 10 plus Q. If I solve for this, this will be again 1.5 Q is equals to 24, which means Q is equals to 16. The price paid by the buyer to the supplier is 10 plus Q, which is equal to 26. Remember that he will pay an additional 6 to government. So eventually he will end up paying 26 plus 6, which is 32, as against the 30 that he was paying earlier. The producer gets 26 as against the 30. Once again you see that the producer takes a hit of minus 4 and the consumer takes a hit of minus 2, which is the total hit. So out of the total tax of 6, 4 is for the producer and 2 is for the consumer. So how do we know what proportion is being taken? So this has two important points. First point that we see is that whether the consumer pays the tax or the producer pays the tax, the net loss is the same and the net sharing of the burden is the same, irrespective of whether the producer pays it or whether the buyer pays it. Correct? That's what we saw. In both the cases, the producer was paying 4 and the buyer was paying 2. So effectively that doesn't change. Now what is the proportion? Let's try and understand these equations. The first equation was this. The second equation was this. Ignore the signs for a moment. You will note that this is half as the coefficient of quantity. This is 1 as the coefficient of quantity, which means the ratio of how much they would bear would also be 0.5 by 1, which effectively means that the burden that the consumer will bear will be half of the burden that the producer will bear. Fine. Let's take another quick example to understand this. Effectively what we mean is that if the demand equation is P is equals to 100 minus 0.6 Q, this is the demand equation, and the supply is P is equals to 20 plus Q, burden on buyers by burden on sellers is nothing but what coefficients exist in front of Q, 0.6 by 1, and absolute coefficients. In our example, this was 0.5 by 1. So here it is 0.6 by 1. Fine. So that's how we can find out what is the burden on the buyer and what is the burden on the seller. Two key points. One, whoever pays the tax doesn't matter. Eventual loss is the same. Second, their sharing of the burden is the same, irrespective of who pays the taxes. Fine. So that's the example on taxation.